Hey Joy Tribe, Joy Villa here, and today we have another reaction video in my new reaction series. This is kind of something that's gone viral online. I opened up Instagram, and I don't know why it's controversial, but let you guys be the deciders. If you'd like to follow me and support this channel, please click like, subscribe, you know the drill, all that stuff down there. I call my very loyal followers the Joy Tribe, and I'm a singer, songwriter, actress. I fight for faith, freedom, finance, fitness. My new book, The Joyful Life, The 5 Pillars of Joy, The 5 Pillars of Joy is on pre-order at joyvilla.com. And my new podcast, which is going into season 2 this year, is called The Joyful Life. And you can stream that on Spotify and right here on YouTube. All right, let's jump into it. Today, I'm going to have my good friend, Stefan Rosen. Hi, Stefan.
Hey, Joy. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we're going to be reacting to this video that I found on my Instagram that has gone viral. Here we go.
Awesome.
Mothers.
Hold on, here we go.
Gloria Steinem said, if you don't go out to work, you betray the movement of feminism. You betray the women's rights movement. And she said, babies will be fine. Don't worry about them. Put them into daycare. Give them to a babysitter. You need to go out to work. You need to be soldiers in this war that we're waging. And women just soaked it up. Meanwhile, Gloria Steinem never had children. So she could say that because she never had the conflicts of being a mother. She never felt the oxytocin pull. She never was attached to a baby. That message was very destructive. And I guess she saw it as a war. But it was a war that was waged not just against men. Unfortunately, it was a war that was waged against babies. We suffered a lot from that. I have a t-shirt that says maternal feminism, which is that I believe in women's right to choose a career or not a career or the ability to work, but that comes with responsibility. You don't have to.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it here, Joy Tribe, so we can react. I brought on Stefan Rosen because Stefan Rosen's produced my podcast before, The Joy Villa Show. He's a good friend of mine. Liberty Affair is Stefan Rosen's website that you can go check it out. But I want a male perspective on this. So, Stefan, what are your thoughts on this video? Why feminism was a war waged against babies? Most people don't want to know what a man thinks about this, but I actually want to know what men and women think about this.
I mean, personally, I think it's a 100% accurate statement of part of the problem of there's a difference between working out of necessity and working out of like political obligation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If we shame moms from staying home and raising their kids.
Okay.
I grew up where my mom worked full-time in corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Did you feel like you missed out maybe sometimes on childhood things that, like, I was raised by a stay-at-home mom. So is even as difficult as that sometimes was, because my mom did suffer from mental illness. She passed away, unfortunately, 16 years ago. I had a mom there, though, and I can never, like, that can't be taken away from me. I know what a stay-at-home homemaking mom is, and I feel like I was raised by a mother. You know, she did her best, wasn't perfect, but it wasn't a war like, oh, is my mom going to have to go to work tonight? She can't see me. She can't take care of me. My dad went to work, but he made it a point to go to all my swim meets, all my track meets, all my theater productions. But my mom's job was to create the home, and he did that beautifully. So do you find like maybe you feel like you might have missed out on something that like people like who raised my mom stay at home did?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think a big thing is just, it's weird for me sometimes when I go to people's homes and they have like home cooked meals. And I'm like, why aren't we just going out to dinner? You know, I feel like there's a lot of work because she needed to work at the time.
Yeah.
And I think that it's, yeah, I think that it affects the children. I mean, I look at how close certain family members are to each other and it feels weird. I'm like, it's weird. Like, I think it's weird for people to go and just like casually just spend a lot of time. Like, I I don't know. It definitely does someday. I mean, I had a great
Yeah.
babysitter though. Her name was Joan. She was a little bit older. She was
Nice,
conservative, but
nice.
she had my back 100%. So they did not leave us alone. But my
Right. So you had the
sister,
female influence too.
yeah, but my sister would try to get like babysitters and stuff to quit in the hopes that our mom would come home and stop working.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, so I understand this. I'm not a mother, not yet. I do want to be a wife and a mother someday, but I personally see what she's saying because it comes with responsibility. I do think women can have it all, but not always at the same time. If you have a responsibility at your home, you have to work. And if you have to, you have to. I'm not demonizing women who go to work. I don't think that's right. But if you have children and you're not trying to make plans to say, I want to spend more time with them, which means maybe you have to get married to someone who can work, who can help support. Maybe if you're a single mom, you find a new man, because that's what they used to do back in the days. Like they would get remarried right away because they knew you can't be out there doing everything yourself. She's not talking about single moms, but even moms that are not single, I feel like they don't even have to work sometimes, but they choose to. You can work part time. In the 1950s and 60s, they would work part time. The husband was the breadwinner. I do believe in that traditional family setup. If you have children, if you don't have children, you have more leeway, of course. But when you have kids, you only have a small point of time where you can raise them, and you make such a big influence. Parents, fathers are so important. Mothers are so important. Raising your kids, being in a family is the most important job you can have on this planet. And it's being like thrown to the wolves.
Demonized.
It's not, yeah, it's demon. It's like, oh, well, have your career, go get it, be a boss babe, boss bitch. Yeah, yas queen. Yeah, I mean, I have a career, I love it, but if I have children, I'm not going to be putting my career first. That's not my priority. My priority is my home. My priority is my
But
children, my husband, our home life. But
yeah,
Gloria Steinem and feminism did tell us we're not women unless we have a job, which is weird because it's like I'm not a woman unless I work for someone who's not my husband for a little bit of pay and have to leave my kids at home. So I'm a slave to somebody else, basically. But that's somehow empowering. But it's not good to serve your husband or to work for your husband or work for your home. I don't get it. It's
yeah.
crazy.
I mean, I just want to make this clear. My mom worked out of necessity because my dad
Sure. Right.
was starting a business and was taking the risk, and she wanted to make sure food was. I mean, she probably didn't need to, but she always did it just out of the feeling of necessity, out
Mm-hmm.
of the maternal instinct to provide. And I think the problem is we now have like where it's like don't have kids, go
Yeah.
get married and leave the man because you're a girl boss.
Right. And
That's
that's
where the
the
big
wrong thing.
problem is.
Exactly. We're not demonizing women who have to go out and work to help support two incomes. It's a tough life. Absolutely. You got to work. You shouldn't feel guilty about that. And I think you should
Yeah,
do the best you can. But if you are doing it and you haven't exhausted other avenues and now you think that's the only thing to do and I'd rather do that than be at my, there's subtleties here. I mean, it's controversial no matter what, but what she's saying is true. I want to play just a little bit more and then we're going to jump off here. And I want to hear Joy
perfect.
Tribe. What do you think?
Comes with responsibility. You don't have to have children to live a satisfying life. You can have a very satisfying career like Gloria Steinem did. But if you're going to have children, Penelope Leach said it many years before me. Anybody can have a child. Don't have them if you don't want to care for them.
Oh,
Oh,
that
that's it.
was,
That was.
isn't that amazing? That's really like the end point of it is like don't have children if you don't want to care for them. And I think that's the thing. What your mom had to do, she cares for you, and maybe it's not something she did because she didn't want to be there at home. She had to
Yeah,
provide, had to help. Your father was starting the business. Obviously, your mother loved you. It's hard for women because we have high expectations for ourselves. I speak in generalities, but men do too. It's men and women have equal hardships, but they're different. I actually don't believe like women have it harder than men or men have it harder than women. Humans have it hard on this planet. But one thing I tell you is living a life without a family, without children, You don't have to do it. Like she said, I fully agree with that. But if you're going to do it, do it. You know,
Yeah.
make some sacrifices, stay at home, you know, try to be a stay-at-home wife. If you can, listen, if you're going to have a career, take your kids with you. That's what I want to do when I go on tour. I want to take my kids with me. I want me and my husband, we're a family unit. We're traveling, we're doing the things we need to do. And not everyone can afford that, but sometimes it's like you got to make sacrifices. There are ways to set up your life to be that way. Poor people do it around the world. It's not just a rich people thing. There are people who make way less money. They're making $30,000 a year, which is the poverty for the US. And yet somehow in foreign countries, they're able to take their kids to the beach, to the jobs, I know because I've traveled 39 countries, and I see Spanish families, they walk around the streets with their kids. Meanwhile, in America, it's like, let's go drinking. Let's leave the kids at home with the babysitter and the Xbox and the iPads, because who wants to have kids out on a night? What a mood stealer.
Well, it just
Raise your family.
Yeah, it's just, well, one big problem we're having with all this feminism is, so my parents live in downtown Boston. You know how many just single mid-30s women there are? That's now the largest Democratic voting bloc.
Oh
And we're
my
now
God.
facing a
And they're
law where there are
unhappy.
less, yeah, but there's also less children being born, right? They're
Yeah. It's
miserable,
actually a
they're
crisis.
single. They're single because they're like, we don't need a man. It's not about needing a man, it's about wanting companionship and a partner. I love my dog to death. I'm walking my dog right now. So
Oh, so
I'm
cute.
walking him right now, but I know he is not a human child.
Right. And that's the thing. A lot of people, they can't, especially, I see this and it's like Los Angeles. I mean, people say white people. I know some black people do too, but a lot of white people in LA, that certain upper crust, they have dogs instead of babies. And then it's not that you can choose to not have kids. It's okay. I'm not saying everyone has to have kids. I have family members that will never have kids. That's fine. But don't pretend like your dog is a human child and then act in this certain way. It's just like there's this attitude like you're so much better than people that have kids. I know that there's this thing in Los Angeles like, oh, but I have my little chihuahua, I have my little dog. Oh, you have those dirty kids. And it's weird. It's just we need to change that energy because we do have a lot of unhappy, unmarried, single women who are now like, feminism lied to me. And I feel sorry for my sisters because it's right, it's true. You drink the Kool-Aid, this is what feminism has wrought. And unfortunately, this is going to continue unless the next generation realizes it's okay. It's okay not to have babies, but it's also okay to have babies. And marry before you carry, guys. Don't be having kids out of wedlock. I'm sorry, I'm old-fashioned that way. It just creates a whole world of problems. It's harder to get child support and protection if you're not married to your spouse. And gentlemen too, protects you because she can just take off with the kids. That's another conversation for another day. Stefan Rosen, thank you so much for joining me today. And Joy Tribe, what do you guys think about what I just played? We are going to be doing some more reactions. Leave me a comment down below if you agree, you disagree. I want to know. All right, we'll talk to you later. See you in the next reaction video.